coming to you from my car. I'm coming to you from my laptop. I'm sitting in my car and I'm at a very nice scenic park. And I just wanted to sit and have a conversation with y'all. It's been a while. I'm gonna tell you, I have recorded so many videos. I promise you, there has been so many videos that I just have not had time to upload. I felt like they weren't right, so I just didn't upload them. But me and my friend were talking and we were like, yo, I think we're going to start recording videos again and hopefully getting them out there to you guys. So she does makeup and, she's had a lot of experience and a lot of real life things she's gone through that, maybe someone can relate to. Me personally, I have real life things that I've gone through, but y'all don't want to hear about that. It's not as interesting as maybe her stories are. So, what I did want to come on and talk about is I have been looking at this circus that is Love and Marriage Huntsville. And I just have to be really 100% with y'all. I don't watch the show. I don't watch any shows. I watch reviews. I watch other people break down the synopsis for me, and I get different points of view. So I have people who like Mel. I have people who are very biased against Mel. I have people who are very neutral. And I like Mel. I think I've seen clips to see that she's a pretty straight up person and she tries to be nice to people, but she's also a Scorpio like myself. She can also cut you off and not give you a reason and not even care. So I get that about her, no problems there. Here's where she's misunderstood. All right. She's very much so driven. She has uber and gobs of ambition and drive, and she had a plan. She's sticking to the plan and she's moving forward with the plan, whether you're with her or you're not with her. She was bringing a lot of people with her and they turned out to be untrustworthy, disloyal, and not worth the time. So she cut them off. Okay. Now, typically when you are dating somebody and you see, hey, this isn't working out, if it's a new relationship, there's no need to have this conversation. You don't call them, you just ghost them. It is what it is. If you have some sort of skin in the game with them, then maybe there's a phone call that's made, or maybe not. If you're really good friends or you were really good friends, you just kind of just grew apart and it just is what it is, then you might just remain cordial with that person. But in either of the stages, you do cut that personal connection that you have with that person off, and you don't share as much with them as you would have normally. You don't call them as much to talk about things you find interesting. You don't gossip with that person because you don't see the value in doing that with that person, because that person is showing you that they're not here for you in that way. They're here to get what they can get from you and they're going to move on. So I feel like she caught on to that early, and I think finding out and then learning that everyone but her knew that Martell was cheating was a red flag for her. And the way that they handled it after she found out that they knew they were cheating, that Martell was cheating, was just like, okay, I see you for what you are now, and I'm not interested. I'm going to just keep it pushing. But I know we got to be cordial because we're on this show. That's how I see it. I know that in the beginning, maybe like seasons 1, 2, parts of season 3, she's probably bitter about it, and she probably was trying to ruin Letitia's relationship, but not in the way that you guys are thinking or the way that Letitia is thinking. She basically just was trying to let Letitia know, like, hey, if Martell is doing this to me, then so Marceau could be doing that to you. And here's the thing. When I dug a little deeper to find out what Martell was doing, your husband was right in the middle of things. So her trying to tell Tisha so that she could be spared the embarrassment of finding out one day that her husband is cheating on her the same way that Martell was cheating on Mel. Yeah, it came across a little bitter. It came across a little, you know. All right, but we get to season 4. I think there was an apology made, and like Mel wasn't even on that anymore, and I don't know. Fast forward to here recently, her and Martell have been, I think, divorced for like 2 or 3 years now, and Martell just won't give up the ghost. He knows what he lost. And if anything, even if there was no real actual love for Melody, I know he knows that he lost his gravy train. She was the gift for Gab. She was the brains behind the operation, and he was the brawn. And they worked well together because he was able to go in there and build the houses and handle that aspect of it. And she was able to secure the contracts and the paperwork side of things. And they were a good team and dynamic that way. Whereas their mixing business and pleasure worked for a little while until a baby popped up out of wedlock. It just, yeah, I mean, you're making me look like a fool out here in these streets, and I'm supposed to be smart, and I'm supposed to be this shrewd businesswoman, and you're making me look like I'm weak and like I can't handle my own household, and gotta let you go. It is what it is. Right? So I get Melody's point of view. And in the South, I am aware that for some reason these women feel like there are just no good men out there, like none. So when they find one that they think is a good man, and he could be married, he could be engaged, he could be in a long-term relationship, or he could be single. It doesn't matter. They like sink their claws in him. And they do not let go because there's a chance he'll divorce his wife. There's a chance he'll leave his fiance. There's a chance he'll break up with the long-term girlfriend. There's a chance he might marry them. They never think there's a chance that even if those things happen, he'll do it to you. They never think that. Like, I don't know what it is they feel that is so special about them that a man who cheats on his wife, fiance, long-term girlfriend won't then do it to you. It's always been the saying where the way you get them is the way you lose them, or you have to do what you've done to keep them or you'll lose them. And to be a mistress is exciting. It's different because you don't have to deal with the day-to-day shit like picking up your nigga's socks or, making sure that dinner's ready and does he like this and, can I spend this? Do we need to discuss, household stuff, bills? Things need to be replaced. Can a family member come stay for a little bit? Like, there's a lot that goes into the day-to-day relationship of a marriage, a long-term relationship, or just even being a fiance. There's a lot that goes into it that the mistress just misses out on. I liken it to like being a weekend parent where you have that one parent that's the primary parent that deals with everything from Monday to Friday. And then from Friday to Sunday, you got that weekend parent that just comes in and just it's a whole bunch of fun because for 2.5 days they don't have any real responsibilities to worry about. You know what I mean? They can go to the zoo, to the park, to Great Adventures, to wherever and have a good time and then drop that child back off to the mom, to the father who has that primary responsibility to make sure that the child gets up every day to go to school, make sure the child's doing their homework at night, making sure that they're clean, they have something to eat, the bills is paid so they have somewhere to sleep. It's the same way in a relationship. It's the same way in a relationship. These mistresses get the best part of these men and women, and they don't know what to do. They don't measure up because they haven't been trained. They haven't had the experience to be with that person for that length of time to know what to do when you're the primary person in the relationship, when you are the wife, when you are the long-term girlfriend. You only know what to do on the weekends. when he's showering you with the money that's supposed to go into the household that the wife needs to use to pay the bills. You only know that that money is going towards your new bag, your new shoes, your new weekend trip, your new whatever it is. So I understand Arrianne's feelings that she thinks that Martell and her have this deep connection. Um, I wonder how she feels now that Mel and Martell have been divorced and he has not made her his number one priority. She has not become the primary person. He is now actually dating another female. So it's like you wasted a lot of your time waiting for this man to be something you always wanted him to be, and you're going back and forth and fussing with his wife, now ex-wife, and you kind of look real crazy in these streets because he has still not chosen you. And you have a baby by him now, which you chose to have, and I think that was to spite and to push Melody further out the door, and it worked. The only thing you didn't account for was that, I don't know, Martell was going to come to you when he didn't. Yeah, he'll come knock on your door because anybody's going to go back to their last boyfriend, girlfriend to get some. Because for females, you're not adding an extra body. It's the same guy. And for men, they just always feel like they can come back to their old pussy because it is theirs. Until you have another man plant his flag and says, this is my bitch now. Like, this is all me, bruh. Get the fuck out of here. That's about what it's going to take. And that's what it's going to take for Martell to leave Melody alone. She's got to, really move on within a relationship and make it public, make it known, before he leaves her alone. Now when it comes to Marcel, Letitia, Kimmy, and Maurice, I think that each couple has their own arrangement. I believe this. I think that Letitia is of the understanding that Marcel can do whatever he wants to do as long as she doesn't catch him, as long as there's no babies that pop up, and she don't look stupid in the streets with real receipts that she has to deem real. So I don't think it's an actual open relationship. I just don't think that she is as naive as those will want or make her out to be, and thinking that Marcel doesn't cheat. I think she knows he does. But I think that as long as it's not blatant and in her face, as long as he comes home and is still taking care of the business at home, even though he's not there for those kids, like Marcel is living the life. And I think that what he's doing is at all costs protecting the life that he has secured, which is to have his cake and eat it too. And no further responsibilities except to bring home money. And he's happy with that because he gets to go play like a kid in a candy store, then come home and be fed and treated like the best husband in the world, when all along he's dibbling and dabbling out here in these streets. And I think Maurice and Kimmy kind of have that similar understanding. Except I think that Kimmy kind of stumbled upon things and decided to let them go. I think that she knows more of the things that Maurice is doing, but Maurice is way quieter about it. And, Yeah, I definitely feel like I definitely feel like she knows more about what's going on, and I think that she covers a lot for him and even maybe Marcel. Um, I just feel like the person who is more at fault to me in all of this is I would say that there's two people who are at fault for the way that Love and Marriage Huntsville kind of is going downhill for me. I want to say that it's Carlos King, and I want to say Martell. I know that Tisha gave Mel some issues. There was some fever. I know Destiny is toxic. Stormy is irrelevant. Tiffany and Big Lou are fillers. But I think Martell had every intention after realizing, especially after they came back from Florida, realizing that they weren't going to get back together, that Mel was serious about their breakup and their being separated, and not allowing him to have her as an option to come back to play in her panties and then go play in somebody else's panties. I think that he decided to make it his life's mission to make her miserable, you know. And I think at some point it developed into a plan to get her off the show and possibly bring Arrianne onto the show. And then it probably morphed even further to still getting Melody off the show, but maybe not bringing Arrianne onto the show and bringing maybe Sheree onto the show. I don't know. Should Arrianne be allowed to film for the show? No. I think it sends a bad message. I don't think it is going to be in her favor. They're not going to paint her out to be this good girl, because she's not in this case. I just don't see it. I don't see it being a good thing that sends something. I just think that maybe Arrianne feels like she can gain some sympathy or bring a more positive spin to her name because she hasn't been able to speak up for herself. And she feels like if you were to know her, or if she were to be able to film, that it would be different. And I just don't see that happening for her. Yeah, you're going to have those that are like, oh, I'm here for the underdog. And if Martell was really for Melody, he wouldn't have cheated in the first place. So did Melody really have him? Blah, blah, blah. I get that too. But it just doesn't seem like they're going to edit her well. They don't edit Destiny well. But Destiny has just that nasty attitude. So I don't think you can really fake that. She just has a nasty attitude. And I think that is what throws people off. And that is what makes them not buy into the single mom whose husband sent her divorce papers, weeks into their child being born after having moved there to be with him. Yeah, she's just not a likable person. She's just very, very negative, very toxic, very nosy, and very tight-lipped when it comes to sharing anything from her life. She's comfortable with sharing things about her father because it's not her life, it's her father's life. She's comfortable with, showing up and filming at a building that says Madani on it that she hasn't paid rent for in a long time, whose lights are off, AC is out. She's just become, I don't even think she's the villain. I just think she's a joke, to be honest with you. She's just like somebody who has sealed her fate and no one likes her, and she just tries and tries and tries. And it's almost like she's trying to fit in with the group's plan to get Melody off the show. And it just backfires because we're more interested in her getting off the show than we are with Melody leaving the show. And that's going to happen to Stormy as well, because I don't know. Stormy doesn't seem to me like she's interesting. I don't find her interesting at all. I think that it's great that she built herself from nothing and made such a... She's already seeing negative effects of her being a part of the show. And that's her business. Her business is being affected by it. So it's like, I don't know. I just think Destiny and Stormy did themselves a disservice being a part of this show and going against Melody and going with this plan that the others have had. Because the others, their spots are solidified. They are a part of the main cast. They are the main cast. You guys were supporting cast members and you went and you, well, shot yourselves in the foot. And it doesn't look good for Stormy's mom to come out and join in on this plan to talk ill and speak unsavory words about Mel, especially when, we're still looking at Mel as if she's the phoenix that rose from the ashes of her marriage with nothing and made something of herself. I mean, you couldn't have gotten a better storyline than that. I just don't feel like you guys holding on to this plan to go against Melody isn't any of their best interests. And I would say that Carlos King is at fault because, I don't know, we watched the whole season, not to mention last season, because last season it happened then too, but we watched a whole season of nothing but bullying. Like, from every single cast member against one person. And even when she didn't film, they were still talking about her. Then when she showed up to film, they talked about her even more and even worse. So it's like, where you had the power to choose footage that could have balanced out the season and letting everyone have their own respective opinions, but not having it. I mean, was there nothing else to talk about? Like, did no one have anything else going on in their lives that their main storyline had to do with Mel? Like, didn't seem like it. So, not sure. And then Letitia, like, she's so cunning in that she makes you think she's dumb and naive, then clearly can summarize how a person's feeling and completely dismiss it by saying, "Oh, I don't know. Oh, I didn't see that. Oh, I don't know if that's my husband's back or not. I don't know. Did my mom really say that? I'm not sure. I didn't know she said that." Like Letitia's one of those people who gaslights but makes you think she's stupid and she's gaslighting you at the same time. She's not slick. I doubt that anyone who can go to school, get a master's, and read a book, read a passage, read the room can't read the room. I just don't think that she feels like she can do as well without Marceau. I think when she stole Marceau from her cousin, yes, she was determined to keep him. And I think that's what's happening. Carlos King has a lot of responsibility in this. He could have definitely looked at the footage and definitely balanced it out and definitely made it a little more fair and a lot less bullying. But he didn't. And then for every reunion, he tries to make it like it's Melody's fault that her and Martell aren't together, and they all missed the mark where this man's penis has been in everything that walks. And I'm supposed to just stay? Like, let's think about that. You want me to stay while my husband fucks everything that's like walking and pops up with a baby 6 months, born 6 months after, a year almost. I can't. She didn't. And then they thought Mel was dumb. I mean, every time they tried something, she just beat them to the punch. And it's amazing to see, because I'm sure she's exhausted, but she still remains 3, 4, 5 steps ahead of them. Like when they think, I'm going to leave it at that. I just broke down a lot of the characters for you. Tiffany and Big Lou, they have issues within their marriage that if they were to remain on this show and spoke on their marriage, they would not have a marriage. Letitia and Marceau were almost a done deal, but Letitia has decided, like, listen, what me and my husband got going on is our business, and Marceau just pretty much shut it down, like, listen, y'all ain't gonna fuck up my situation where I can have my cake, ice cream, the Jimmy's on top, and eat it too. Fuck out of here. So, Stormy and her husband, now there's a rumor that says that her husband is gay, and that they have like a best friend vibe, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you're in it for the tax break, I get it. I get it. I understand. Allegedly, I get it. And then this whole thing with Marceau being like the puppet that kind of keeps Martell in line, because they don't want Martell to tell all the stuff he knows about them. I don't think Martell's going to say anything about them. I think he's so worried, and he's got Melody so stuck in his brain that I don't think they have to worry about that at all. Now, if Melody said, this is what I need from you, I need you to come clean about everything that you know, he might do it. He might do it. See, Martell needs someone to tell him how to do something, and he can do it. He'll execute it, no problem, but he needs you to tell him to do it. He needs you to tell him what the next steps are. He needs you to tell him, the how. And there's a lot of people that are like that out there, And that's why it seemed that they were such a good team. But it was also very toxic. He's got a very bad temper, and he will not get help for it. And that's crazy. But that's my time. I'm going to try to get this video up for you. If you could, like, comment, and subscribe. Do that for your girl. I'm trying to get 100 subscribers. I'm trying to get at least 100 likes. That'd be nice. And you want to donate some Cash App to your girl, it'll be down below. And I'm going to go out there and I'm going to enjoy this beautiful view. It's such a nice day. I'm going to go look at the pond and just enjoy nature. All right, y'all. Bye.